So, breaking news, Trump was just shot. I mean, this is just wild stuff. The best that I can tell, this happened maybe less than 30 minutes or so ago. In fact, I'm going to show you footage of what the news is showing about this. Let me pull it up right now. Here is evidently the moment that he's shot.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
So you can hear gunshots and you can see him react. He falls. And he's going to be bleeding.
We're watching here live this event happening over in Pennsylvania, and it seems like popping sounds over in the background. We had Secret Service members kind of have former President Donald Trump
certainly keep him
duck
in the
there
prayers.
from the podium. I'm going to pump up the audio so we can keep listening into this happening right now.
Looks like they need better security. Those guys don't appear to have been doing their job. So we're going to see him get up here in a moment. He was rushed off, I believe, to the hospital.
Let me get my shoes. I got you, sir. Let me get my shoes.
So you can see that he's clearly bleeding. Got some blood on his face. It looks like he is okay, but there's just not a whole lot to go off of right now. Here you can see him fist pumping. Waving. So it looks like he's standing strong. Just from the looks of it, I would have to say it doesn't appear to be some kind of critical gunshot, because I don't think he would be able to walk away like that if it were something that's critical in nature. But I mean, it's a developing story, so we don't know a whole lot. Let me share my screen again and show you what Fox is saying, as well as a number of others, all sorts of news sources we'll take a look at here. So this one is Fox. I just pulled them up because they had the video here. So it notes, while Trump was speaking, noises were heard before people started screaming and security rushed in to shield Trump. Trump was showing off a chart of border crossing numbers when bangs started ringing through the crowd, which you could hear. You could hear a couple shots before he actually reacts and falls down. Trump could be seen reaching with his right hand towards his neck. There appeared to be blood on his face, so maybe it grazed him. I mean, it doesn't look like he got hit really hard, but I don't know. Maybe he did. We just doesn't appear that anybody has provided any more details at the moment. He quickly ducked behind the riser as agents from his protective detail rushed the stage and screams rang out from the crowd. The bangs continued as agents tended to him on stage. His motorcade has left the venue. His condition was not immediately known. I mean, but just from looking at that, I have to say, well, looks to me like maybe this isn't critical in nature, but again, we don't know for sure. As he was escorted off the state by Secret Service agents, Trump held his fist in the air as chants of USA, USA echoed through the crowd. Police began vacating the fairgrounds shortly after Trump left the stage. The U.S. Secret Service and other law enforcement agencies did not immediately respond to messages. I mean, but it's fresh news, so I mean, we're going to be finding out a whole lot more about this soon. Leaving Mass, President Joe Biden simply responded no when asked if he'd been briefed about the incident. Praying for President Trump and everyone at the rally in Pennsylvania. May God watch over them all, Senator Tim Scott tweeted. So it's a developing story, much more to it. You can see it's already on Twitter, all over Twitter. Sky News is also says this. Gunshots have reportedly been fired at Trump's rally. Trump appeared to fall to the ground as he was giving a speech. He was quickly surrounded by armed security and stayed down for around a minute. He then rose to his feet and put his fist in the air before being escorted off the stage. A video appeared to show blood on his ear as he was taken away, which is again why I kind of think like this probably looks like something that wasn't critical in nature. We can certainly hope and pray for him. NBC News, Secret Service rushes Trump off stage after popping noises heard at his Pennsylvania rally. Reuters reporting the same. All of the news sources are starting to jump on this. Like I said, to the best that I can tell, it looks like it just happened less than about 30 minutes ago. So certainly, keep him in prayer. From what I can tell, though, it looks like he's going to walk this one off. But obviously, I don't have all the information because we don't know exactly where he was hit. Maybe it grazed his ear. That's kind of what it looked like to me, is that it grazed his ear or something like that. And I didn't see a whole, lots of blood. So looks like it may have been a grazing. But please keep them in prayer. And it's wild that we're seeing this kind of stuff. We don't know who the shooter is or what their motives would be, but I'm pretty sure we can speculate why this would happen. So, I think what's probably the case, and obviously this is complete speculation, but what's probably the case is it's pretty clear the Democrats are going to continue to go with Joe Biden. Joe Biden clearly is not capable of going for another term. I don't know how he's going to finish out this one, let alone do another one. Most people don't have enough confidence in him to vote for him at this point, it would appear. So clearly it's going to be a landslide for Trump if the Democrats continue to put Biden up as their representative for the Democratic Party. And so it's pretty obvious Trump is going to win. So if Trump is going to win, I think some people just have figured at this point, well, okay, if we can't beat him, with the, with the ballots, then let's go ahead and just shoot him. That's the way it comes across. I don't know for sure because I don't know the person. I imagine we'll find out who it was pretty soon, and we'll find out what their motives are. So I want to hear from y'all, though. And again, keep him in prayer. I want to hear from y'all, though. Put your comments there in the comment section. If you have any more information about this that you can share, I'd love to hear more. Let me show you the video again for those of y'all who are just now tuning in. I'll pull it back up here. Let me go to this one because it actually has more than most of the videos out there. It shows the most. So here we go. Again, a little graphic.
And then
Okay, let me rewind that. Hold on.
You want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Okay, so clearly you can see he hears one shot. He doesn't react as if it's hit him, but he just hears it. Then you could see him grab his ear with the second shot. So it's like it grazed his ear or something. And then he gets down. I'm sure that's just natural reaction at that point. I don't think it's like a third shot hitting him. But then again, I don't know. Maybe it is another shot hit him after something perhaps grazed his ear. But that's the way it comes across.
And that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
See what I mean? Looks like something grazed his ear, and so he gets down. And when he comes, what we see is he gets back up.
Let me get my shoes on. Hold on, you're
Let me get my shoes on. I think it's and now clearly has blood on his face. You can see it. right there. You could see some blood on his face. So it looks like that's probably just right. Yeah, right there. And you can see his ear is bleeding clear as day. Let me rewind that. Um, that part right there was very, very clear. There's not a lot of maneuverability with this video feature, but there it is. You can clearly see, you know, grazed his ear. We can hope that's all that happened, that it's just a bullet that grazed his ear and everything's going to be fine. I doubt very seriously he's walking up, getting up, fist pumping, and and has like another gunshot to his chest or something. I just maybe he would do that, but I don't see that happening. I think what happened is ear was grazed and that's it. So again, I'm just speculating here. It looks to me like it is not critical, but I don't have all the information because it doesn't appear that anybody has all of the information right now. Let's play that one more time.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
We're watching here live this event happening over in Pennsylvania, and it seems like popping sounds over in the background. We've had the Secret Service members kind of have former President Donald Trump duck there from the podium. I'm going to pump up the audio so we can keep listening into this happening right now.
Get ready. We ready?
I didn't see anything in the video identifying a shooter, so that's not on camera.
Are we good? Shooters down. Are we good to move? We're clear. We're clear.
Are any of y'all in the chat aware of somebody having video of the shooter himself? I mean, with all those people there, somebody's bound to have caught that and posted it on Twitter at this point. Let me know.
Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes.
Hold on, your head is bloody.
So we got to move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
Watch out.
I think he's going to pull through it. Yeah, I'll still keep him in prayer, of course. We're going to see if we can find some more additional footage. Like I said, somebody is bound to have filmed the shooter while this happened. I mean, there's so many people there. Everybody usually has their phones. People put things on Twitter and it immediately circulates. That's bound to be out there. I can say this: if he survives, and it appears that he's going to, if he survives this, I think this will probably just establish his platform even more. I think this is going to make him somebody that people will vote for even more. So I imagine this is going to have the effect of emboldening those who support him, and also giving him more ammunition to throw at his critics, and also to continue to do what he is doing. And so I actually think that it's kind of like making him a martyr. So I think it's going to have the reverse effect that the person intended. I'm going to try to see if I can find if they have identified the shooter. While we take a look at this again.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
We're watching here live this event happening over in Pennsylvania, and it seems like popping sounds over in the background. We've had the Secret Service members kind of have former President Donald Trump duck there from the podium. I'm going to pump up the audio so we can keep listening into this happening right now.
We ready? Are we good? Shooters down. Are we good to move? We're clear. Let's move. Let's move. We're clear. Come on. Let me get my shoes. I got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes.
Hold on, your head is bloody.
So we got to move to the bus.
Sorry about that. Somebody notified me I was muted. Yeah, what I was saying there is that very clearly it looks like Elon Musk is endorsing Trump. Here's what he posted. Let me put it back on the screen. He says, I fully endorse President Trump and hope for his full recovery. Now, let me show that to you. Joe's posted it on his Twitter. So you should be able to see that now. He says, I fully endorse Trump and hope for his rapid recovery. I wasn't aware that he was explicitly endorsing Trump like this. Now, hey, look, maybe he's been doing that for a while. I have no clue. To my knowledge, I haven't seen anything like that from Elon Musk. Not saying it's not out there. It's news to me, though. So, like I said, I honestly think that this will just strengthen his platform and candidacy for the presidency. So it's certainly going to embolden, supporters of Trump. And I think at a time right now when most people don't have any confidence in Biden, and now they're seeing Trump not only having to go through all sorts of wild stuff in the courts, but also being shot. Again, I think a lot of people are going to end up voting for him over and against Biden if the Democrats continue to put Biden moving forward. I don't know. Maybe this is going to be a game changer. Maybe they're going to end up pulling Biden and putting somebody else in there. I know Biden has said very clearly, I'm not pulling out, but I don't know. At this point, I think Trump and his potential for being president is so strong due to this and many other events that they're probably going to have to pull Biden and put somebody else in there up against him. Again, if they keep Biden in there, it's going to be a landslide, for better or worse, regardless of what you think about Trump. For better or worse, it's pretty clear Trump's going to win, especially if it wasn't clear before, and I think it was clear before. It's clear now because this is just going to make him a martyr. So I'm trying to find, however, again, perhaps footage of the person who shot him, because somebody is bound to have gotten that footage. So bear with me. So I'm trying to see. All this is brand new. So I'm trying to see what all is out there. Sorry about that. I I I think that some are saying that Trump is perhaps planning this, that he did this on purpose. Um, I don't think that is the case. It kind of reminds me of the whole Tupac thing where people were saying that maybe Suge Knight hired somebody to shoot Tupac while Suge Knight's in the car with Tupac when he's murdered. It just doesn't make sense because Suge Knight was, grazed by the bullets that shot Tupac, and so I don't see him hiring somebody and putting himself in harm's way. So it's kind of the same thing here. I don't see Trump um, telling a person, "Yeah, hey, let me hire you. Come to this rally and shoot at me. Maybe just kind of graze my ear, you know." don't don't shoot me in the head, but just shoot me kind of right here in the ear. It's way too close to the head anyway. I just don't see that happening and Trump gambling with his life like this because that's exactly what he would be doing if he actually hired this guy to do it. So I don't think that this is fake. I don't think that he's behind it. I don't think that it is a um, some kind of strategy to strengthen his platform. I'm sorry, I don't see that. But I know immediately people were jumping in and saying, "Oh, it's got to be fake," or he must have planned this. I don't see a person being that insane to gamble with their life. But hey, I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he is that kind of person. Maybe he would do that. I'm sorry. I don't see that. So, um, yeah, much more can be said about the Tupac thing. I see y'all talking about that in the chat. Let me share my screen again. See if we can see a little bit more here. Oh, now look at this too. Look at this. You can clearly see him here. Um, you can clearly see him here in a zoomed in photo. Ear is bleeding and got some blood on his face. So yeah, I suspect. So we heard three gunshots there very clearly. Just shooting from the hip here, pardon the analogy. Um, I suspect one of those grazed his ear, and that's it. I doubt very seriously that he was shot in any critical part. Yeah, I agree with you, Matthew Hall. This is too far for me to even question. That's how crazy it sounds. Yeah. So I don't think that this is something that is a conspiracy or something that he planned. I'm sorry, I don't see a person gambling with their life like that. But again, some people are crazy enough to do that. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time, but I don't know if Trump would put his life in danger like that by hiring a guy to say, "Yeah, shoot me, kind of graze my ear, but make sure you don't move half an inch, over here to my skull, because that will kill me." I just come on, that's not happening. Clearly, this is an attack on him so that he doesn't move forward, um, or can't move forward. Um, with the election. But from what I can see, I think he's going to be moving forward. It doesn't look like he's in critical condition. So I think that I think he's going to be moving forward. And all this did is actually just bring more support for his position and probably less support for Biden. All right. Trying to find more information as this is all live. So let me also make sure that y'all can hear that audio because you can clearly hear the gunshots.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
We're watching here live this event happening over in Pennsylvania, and it seems like popping sounds over in the background. We've had the Secret Service members.
So I'm hearing that
Donald
the Secret Service says at some point in the video, the shooter's down.
Trump.
Let's see if we can hear that.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And that's a little bit old, that chart.
Okay.
That chart's a couple of months old.
Here's video footage of an individual being dragged out from Trump's rally. Is this the shooter? Let's watch it together. Let's see. This is posted by, retweeted by the Daily Wire. Video footage of an individual being dragged out of Trump's rally in PA. So this has to be the shooter. Let's see. Let me see if I can zoom in.
The microphone, Shannon, saying, "Let me grab it." To me, as you're trying to figure out if you're okay, what's going on, was he shot, was he wounded? Then we heard him on the microphone, Shannon, saying, "Let me grab my shoes," as they tried to take him off. So
yeah,
we're just trying to figure out what happened.
Okay, you could barely see the person. Let's try that again.
To me, as you're trying to figure out if you're okay, what's going on, was he shot, was he wounded? Then we heard him on the microphone, Shannon, saying, "Let me grab my shoes," as they
okay, so you can kind of see they're having to drag them out. So clearly that person is shot and not able to move himself. And this appears to be a male just by the look of the arm. So it looks like a male shooter that they're having to drag out because he's not able to move out for himself, which would, very clearly indicate they took him out. I don't know if it's lethal or anything, but just kind of speculating here.
Tried to take him off. So we're just trying to figure out what happened.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I bet there's more that's breaking. But let's see. Somebody says in the video that the Secret Service says the shooter's down. Let's see if we can hear it.
And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
We're watching here live this event happening over in Pennsylvania, and it seems like popping sounds over in the background. We've had the Secret Service members kind of have a former President Donald Trump duck there from the podium. I'm going to pump up the audio so we can keep listening into this happening right now.
All right. Look at this one. A lot more clear than what we saw before. Let me try to make that a little bit larger. You can see there very, very clearly it was his ear that was grazed, and that's why you're seeing the blood over here. It's not like a second wound or something like that. It's just because it grazed his ear, and so it's got all over his cheek and mouth and all that. But he looks pretty firm. I don't see any other gunshots over here, like to the chest or anything like that. So I suspect this is not a critical. He's not in critical condition.
We ready?
Was that it? Shoot her down?
We ready?
It's happening right
What'd they
now.
say?
We ready? Are we good?
Okay, I heard it there. Shoot her down.
Are we good? Shooter's down. Are we good?
Shoot her down. Yeah, you can clearly hear the shooter's down.
We're clear. Let's move. We're clear. Come on. Let me get my shoes. I got you, sir. Let me get my shoes, sir. Hold on, your head is bloody. So we gotta move to the box. Let me get my shoes. Okay, my shoes down. Watch out.
Everybody's cheering him on. Screaming USA. It's amazing. Nobody else was hit by the gunshots here because again, there's 3 of them. There's clearly people behind him, so it's amazing that it seems like nobody else was hit.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Okay, so did you hear those other gunshots after the first 3 shots? That's got to be the Secret Service taking the guy down. Listen.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Okay, you got the 3 gunshots. That's clearly the gunman. But listen to this next part. I heard 5 gunshots there. So they clearly took out the shooter. Which is, again, why we have now video footage of them dragging the shooter out because the shooter clearly can't move.
As they tried to take him off. So we're just trying to figure out what happened.
Dragging him by hands and feet. Wow, this is just wild stuff. I'm trying to see if I can find some more, y'all.
We're watching here live this event happening over in Pennsylvania, and it seems like popping sounds over in the background. We've had the Secret Service members kind of have a former President Donald Trump duck there from the podium. I'm going to pump up the audio so we can keep listening into this happening right now.
Get ready. We ready? Are we good? Shooters down. Are we good to move? We're clear. Let's move. Let's move. We're clear. Come on. Let me get my shoes. I got you, sir. Let me get my shoes, sir. Hold on, your head is bloody. So we gotta move to the bus. Let me get my shoes. Okay, my shoes down. Watch out.
I'm seeing everybody on social media posting this photo. I suspect this is going to be the iconic image that we see moving forward of Trump. That shot right there, pun intended. Wow.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Yeah, I agree. You can see him touch his ear after the second shot. So the first one doesn't appear to have landed. Second shot grazes his ear. That's why when he comes up, you see him bleeding only there. The third shot, I don't think landed at all. But then after that, you hear about 5 more shots where that's clearly the gunman being gunned down by the Secret Service. My question is, where were they? What was going on? How did this happen? I mean, should it have even come to this point? I mean, how did they allow this to happen is one of the questions I'm going to be asking over the next few days, even if he survives this, which it appears that he is going to, because it appears that this is just kind of a flesh wound there in the ear from a gunshot that just grazed his ear. Again, unless I'm missing information, it could be that there's something more critical going on, but we don't know yet.
We're watching here live this event happening over in Pennsylvania, and it seems like popping sounds over in the background. We've had the Secret Service members kind of have former President Donald Trump duck there from the podium. I'm going to pump up the audio so we can keep listening into this happening right now.
Get ready. We ready? Are we good? Shooters down. Are we good to move? We're clear. Let's move. We're clear. Come on. Let me get my shoes.
All right, let's shift over to this video footage that we're seeing here. Let's see. We get some different angles. Okay. Let me make sure that you can hear. All right, here we go. Let's see what's going on here.
For us, I do want to point out this photograph right here that we've been showing with former President Donald Trump. You see him as the incident happened, reaching for his right ear. Let's bring in John Carl, our chief Washington correspondent, if we can get back to him. He's in Milwaukee, the site of the Republican National Convention. And John, I understand you were with Republican
convention where they'll start on Monday. I was actually with the chairman.
Let me see. Fast forward just a little. Okay, here you can see him leaving. So he's being escorted off. Looks like he's still able to walk. Okay. So they get him into the vehicle. Looks like he's still doing good. You can see his ear's been grazed. Okay. Wow. Let's see if there's some other angles that they've been able to retrieve. Okay. I think this is ABC's footage. Let's see if they have anything else. I have them muted so they don't give me a copyright strike. There may be others who were wounded. I'm trying to find out if somebody else was wounded in the crowd. Let's see what they say here.
Rally. What more are you hearing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and people are still mingling around here waiting to leave this area. This is Gabby. Gabby, you told me you were in the second row. Yeah. Describe what you saw.
I think
So she's second row. She was right there.
Well, I mean, I saw like all the like Secret Service like kind of cover Trump. They did a really good job about that, making sure he was protected, telling everyone to get down. So I think they did take a good care of like making sure everyone was like understanding what was going on and like being serious but not freaking everybody out.
What was your initial reaction when you heard those popping noises?
To get down. Yeah, so I actually like my boyfriend pushed me on the ground and like went on top of me, which was like really nice. But I think a lot of people I think were a little like too shocked to understand what was going on originally, for sure. But I think everyone listened pretty well and it was handled pretty well.
Did you see some of that commotion that was playing out on the other side of the bleacher where we saw law enforcement agents sort of swarm around another individual, or did you ultimately just rush out?
No, we were there for a minute because they did tell us to go back down again just in case. I think that was good because it helped like calm people down. But I think one of the stands that I was next to, they did like carry out a man.
So they're confirmed it is a male.
And there was another one that might have been injured. I'm not 100% sure, but
okay, so there may have been somebody else that was kind of shot in the background.
Definitely one at least. And on the other stand on the other side, because I was on the right, on the left, there were like a bunch of like men in uniform like surrounding someone. So that was interesting to see.
You said that you were very impressed by the speed in which Secret Service was able to get on that stage within.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not impressed after the fact. Come on, they should. Where were they before this happened? And while it's happening, that's not impressive. I'm sorry.
Seconds of all of us hearing those popping sounds.
Yeah, absolutely. They did a great job. I definitely felt protected in the situation. The sniper was on it.
Protected after somebody gets shot.
Watching on guard. Everyone on the scene like did a great job. I mean, like, of course, it was like nerve-wracking in the moment, but I never felt like I was like in danger, which was cool. They were on the president, which I'm very thankful of, and they did a great job like protecting him and getting him out as quick as possible.
Well, they protected him after he got shot. That's the problem. So I suspect we're going to find out more about that soon. Who dropped the ball? How did this happen? That's kind of the question here. But let's see. I think we might have some additional information here. Okay. Let me see. Excuse me. Let's see what we have.
3 people there. Because everyone here tonight, we're going to win. You run for because I mean, stiff right now.
So this is him speaking at the rally.
You know, your current senator is a great, great gentleman. So we're going to bring him up for under Ronald Reagan, the second. The Atlanta drug dealers. We have people that should not be here. Access to that chart that I love. Border Patrol.
All right, here's the model. Okay.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Wait, was that another gunshot? Hold on. I hear something else, like another gunshot there. So we hear the 3 gunshots, then we hear 5 more where they're shooting down the gunman. Then I hear another gunshot and people screaming, and people's attention shifts to, I guess, the source of that sound. What's going on there? You see that? You see how everybody jumped up? I'm confused.
If you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
See, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has to be them shooting down the gunman. Unless that's the gunman shooting another, that doesn't make sense. And then another one. What's going on there? That's weird because, see, those other 5 shots that we heard after the first 3, I don't think that's a gunman, because who's going to shoot 3 shots, stop for about 2 seconds, and then shoot 5 more? Like, that doesn't make any sense. If you're shooting, you're shooting. And so you're not going to pause like that. So the second group of shots sounds like, it sounds like the Secret Service responding. But then there's this weird other shot going on over here. You see how this guy jumps up? Watch him. And watch these people over here. And see how that person's reacting, this person's reacting. They're all reacting to another shot.
Hold. When you're ready, on you. Ready, move.
That's wild. Surely there's not 2 gunmen here. And honestly, I'm a little surprised by this crowd that they're not running away and going wild right now in this, stampede. I'm a little surprised by how calm they are, which is the right thing to do. I mean, for the most part, right? Because that could cause additional deaths if they just go wild, start stomping on each other.
So we gotta move to the box.
Okay, so Richmond is saying 2 dead, including shooter and audience member, 1 in critical condition. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that about the audience member, and I'm sorry that this shooter chose to do such a foolish thing. So did we confirm, however, the shooter is dead? You're saying yes. Can you give me a news source on that, please? Not saying you're wrong. I would like to know so I could pull it up. But I'm questioning what that 3rd gunshot was. Not the 3rd shot, but the 3rd round, if you will. I guess the 9th shot. There's something going on there. Okay, Fox News is reporting the shooter is dead. Let me see if I can find that.
So we gotta move to the box. Watch out.
We got some additional photos here. Looks like this is while Trump is down. You can clearly see him bleeding here. Okay. I'm trying to find where they confirmed that the shooter is dead. I mean, it really does appear that that's likely the case, but I'm just trying to confirm that. Okay. All right. Here's something that I was able to just now pull up. An incident occurred the evening of July 13th. Secret Service has implemented protective measures. County District Attorney Richard Goldfinger said one person is believed to be dead, and possibly a second is dead from the incident at the rally. He said the person believed to be dead was someone in the crowd. Well, that's terrible. So the one that they're confirming is dead is actually one of the victims. That's not to say that the shooter is not dead. There's possibly a second, which might be the shooter. I suspect the shooter is dead. Let's see. President Trump, he's fine and is being checked out at a local medical facility. Yeah. That's what I figured as far as he's fine, just because I don't see a man being shot critically and getting up and pumping their fist and smiling. Because that's what he was doing. So you're not usually smiling if you're shot critically, but you might smile if a bullet grazed your ear. Let's see. Wow. Wow. Trying to see what else I can find and confirm here, since it's all, again, breaking news. Share my screen again.
And President Trump had just announced me and said he was going to have me come up on the stage, and said, well, wait a minute. And then there were a number of shots, I think probably 7 or 8 shots. It wasn't clear whether they would come from one place or 2 places. At least I couldn't tell. And immediately there was a swarm of Secret Service officers that, got on top of and knocked down President Trump and got on top of him. And then he stood back up, and you sort of saw this fist come out, sort of defiant that it looked like he was okay, but you couldn't tell for sure. It looked like there was some blood, but it wasn't obvious. And then the entire crowd went to the ground because we weren't sure whether the shots were done. And then unfortunately, over my shoulder, someone had clearly been hit. I was on the ground, and up in the bleachers, probably 3 or 4 bleachers behind me. It looked like there was a man who was severely injured. There was a lot of
Right, that makes sense, because like I said, it sounds like the first and third shot did not hit him. And if they're shooting at him and there's people behind him and 2 of them didn't land, seems like somebody's getting shot. And so that's unfortunate.
The blood, and his people around him were trying to administer first aid. And then the police, some police officers came in and carried him out, and presumably took him to get first aid. That's really all I could see.
Let's see. Matt Wallace, he has 1.8 million followers, says, let's take a moment to appreciate this hero for killing the shooter only seconds after he opened fire. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if this is the person who killed the shooter, and I don't know if the shooter has actually been killed. I'm not saying that hasn't been confirmed. I just haven't seen that being confirmed yet.
I don't know if there were other people injured, and I don't know if there was anybody apprehended. because, as you might imagine, once that happened, the crowd was it was very chaotic, and it was very hard to know what was going on. And we're still there at the rally, just sitting trying to get out because the traffic is so backed up.
And this is wild stuff. I remember as a kid when I was in Israel, the moment that Yitzhak Rabin, the prime minister of Israel, was shot and killed, by the way, at the time. And this is certainly reminding me of this, although in Trump's case, it does not appear that he's in critical condition.
And Dave, your account seems to confirm some of this reporting that we're getting about a shooter and potential bystanders who were hurt. Just talk more about.
No, I was actually just the other day thinking this stuff is risky business. Being in politics like this, I was literally just thinking the other day that it's very possible that somebody could just come up to you and shoot you because they don't like what you're doing. And I was thinking, I wonder if they're going to do that to Trump, because there's a lot of people who just hate him with a passion. It's surprising that this hasn't already happened. And I was thinking, this is risky business. How does he not get shot at literally every single day? And, you can ask the same question for probably the majority of politicians out there. It's really risky business.
About your initial reaction. I mean, seeing this, you're running for Senate in the state of Pennsylvania. You're about to walk up on the stage. You're getting introduced by the former president, and then you hear these shots ring out and the chaos in the crowd. What was going through your mind in that moment?
Well, it takes a minute to process.
I don't know if this is true. Somebody's saying that they have a photo of the man who shot Trump. I don't know if this is true, so I don't know if I'm gonna pull it up just yet until I can get some other confirmations of this.
So people started to panic all around. You could feel, people were very scared, and so everybody just dropped to the ground, and it felt very obvious that the president was under assault, and very much at risk, and it wasn't clear that he was okay to begin with. And then, once it started to sink in, you're thinking, are there still shooters out there? Are they going to target other people? And, it's just like these, situations. I was in the military previously. You realize over time that the facts start to come together.
Really stood out to me that the Secret Service would treat this as an attempted assassination, something this country has not seen in a very long time. What defines that?
Well, of course it's an attempted assassination.
In terms of the training and the moment and the response?
Well, threats against public officials have gone up exponentially over the last couple of years, as your previous guest pointed out. And that threat matrix has contributed to these attacks on public officials, locals.
Here's something coming out from somebody who was in the crowd just now.
I thought that's exactly where I heard him come from.
What did you see, sir?
I heard the shots. I thought it was firecrackers to begin with. Somebody over there was screaming, he's been shot, he's been shot. So I made my way over. I said, I'm an emergency department physician. Let me help you. The guy had spun around, was jammed between the benches. He had a headshot here. There's lots of blood, and he had brain matter there. And so I got him. There's a helicopter coming in to get him. So I got people there really helpful. I got
Was
him
there only
up
one
on the
person
bench.
shot that you saw?
Then I did CPR, did chest compressions as well as I breathed for him.
One person.
I was the only one that did it.
We need to evacuate.
Look, how did this happen? How did this happen? I was just in Rome not long ago at the Vatican, and they checked us non-stop. Israel, too, checked us non-stop. I had a little thing that holds my phone, a little one of those handheld things that holds it, so I don't have to sit there and hold it up. It's one of those little grips, and it's kind of turns into a little tiny tripod. I had one of those things, makes it a little easier. they wouldn't even allow that into a general audience with the Pope because they were afraid that I was going to hit the Pope. They didn't know I'm a Pope swiner, but they thought maybe this would be used as a weapon. And my question is, how did this happen? This seems like a failure on part of security, perhaps the Secret Service and others. I don't know why we continue to hear some of these people lauding the Secret Service for their timely response. Excuse me, a timely response after you've already failed isn't helpful. It's you shouldn't be commended for a timely response after somebody has been shot. You want to be there to prevent that from happening. And so, how does this happen? Is my question. Um, I understand they can't be everywhere and control everything, but surely there would have been some kind of security that people would have to go through to attend this rally. And they would have caught that this person had a weapon. How does this happen? There was some major failure here, and I guarantee we're going to find out in the next few days. Someone dropped the ball, and I don't know what the consequences for that are going to be, but I suppose they'll probably be pretty severe. Okay, so multiple outlets are confirming that the shooter is dead. A body believed to be that of the shooter was seen being carried off. Okay, so here's some footage of a body being carried off. I don't know if this is the shooter. It might be the body of somebody in the crowd. We've heard that the someone in the crowd has been killed. So. So you can see them clearly carrying off a body. Don't know if that was the shooter. May have been somebody, in the crowd. So I don't know if that's the case. Still trying to see what all we can confirm here. As is usually the case with Twitter and social media, there's a million people tweeting a million things all at once. And sometimes you have to be a little scrupulous in determining whether or not something is authentic, because you could easily have somebody with a large platform say, hey, this is the shooter, or they're dead. And in fact, perhaps that's not the case. So you could see some misinformation, unfortunately. So I'm trying to make sure. Okay, so I'm seeing for the second time the same photo of the alleged killer. Let me try to look into this to see if this is accurate before I try to show it on the screen, because I don't want to say that this person is the shooter unless that's actually been confirmed. Not confirming, so gonna have to hold off on that. But I continue to see photos of the alleged shooter, according to some people on Twitter. But you know how misinformation can spread, so I'm gonna hold off on showing that until it has been confirmed. Okay, let's continue. Let's see if we have a little bit more information we can glean here from ABC.
His right ear. Leonard, we're so grateful that you are okay. Can you just walk us through what happened and what you saw?
Sure, absolutely.
Oh wow, look at that photo. Yeah, wow.
I was excited to see the former president coming out. We were all, excited, and we were all happy. We were all joyful. We were all there for each other. And then the former president was giving his speech. Then moments later, there was some, popping sounds that were going off. There were about maybe 6 or 7 to 8 shots that were happening. None of us really registered at the time, but then all people were saying, get down, get down. Even I was saying, get down. Other people were saying, get down as well. And, we were all praying. We were praying to Yeshua, the Lord Jesus, and we were praying to him to keep us safe, keep us protected. But unfortunately, what happened was, someone did get shot. What I do hear is that I think 2 people did get shot, that to the best of my knowledge. And I believe that, the former president, which I'm glad he is safe. So.
Leonard.
Here is a BBC interview with somebody claiming he saw the shooter get killed.
Someone who was here. You weren't inside the event,
nope,
but you were just outside. Tell us what you saw.
So we had a party here all day. You can see behind us at the Brinkles Farming Greenhouse here. We had a party, and we all decided, hey, when we hear Trump up there, we're going to walk up through the field, stand by the trees up there under the shade, and watch and listen to the rally. Right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea. But we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, and we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof, we can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2 or 3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots rang out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at them for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? This is not a big place.
Did you see, obviously...
Yeah, he's saying the same thing that I'm saying. Why was security not addressing this issue?
See, everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh, yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, just be careful because...
He says Secret Service blew his head off, and he is testifying to that very, very strongly.
You don't quite know who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
It's incredibly shocking.
The guy was on the roof right there. You can see the white roof right there.
Did you get a look at him? Could you?
No, other than he was in muted colors, tan type clothing. We saw the rifle flinging around as he was trying to crawl. We saw the rifle, 100%.
Do you know about guns? Do you know what kind of weapon it was?
Oh, I absolutely know about guns, for sure. Yeah, it was a rifle of some sort. I wouldn't know, I wasn't close enough to read the label on it, but
sure.
It was a rifle of some sort. Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you process what you've just seen?
I don't know what to say, man. All I'll tell you is, if I walked up close to there with anything that Secret Service considered a problem, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you right now. But I don't know why a guy who we're standing there pointing out to police and Secret Service is crawling up the roof. Yes, we're right there by that tree. We were outside the security perimeter. But my question is, there's only a few buildings around here. Why is Secret Service not at every building here?
Well, there's a whole bunch of questions, I think, that are going to come.
There's a whole bunch of questions.
Yeah.
Yes, she was right in front of me. She kept going back and forth right in front of me. Yes.
Tell us about her.
Nice horse, nice lady running with a flag. Seemed very, patriotic.
But what's the significance of her?
No, he asked me if I saw a horse.
Okay. All right, well, listen, I'm sorry you had to witness that. That was a terrible thing. and you should stay safe with yours.
All right. Well, again, developing story, much more to come. Unfortunately, I won't be able to cover any more at this moment, but I'm sure I'll be back to address some more as the story unfolds. Y'all, of course, pray for Trump, pray for the repose of the souls of those who have passed away. It appears that somebody in the crowd has been murdered, and it also appears that the shooter is dead. Pray for the forgiveness of his sins, and for, again, anybody impacted by this, we'll pray in our Father together in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right, more to come. Keep everyone involved in this situation in prayer. We'll see you later.